at least is going to be more or less the same. We're going to record the class so that we can share it later on. We're going to talk about some ideas that we hope other people will enjoy hearing about. It might be helpful to other people. But one difference between this class and other classes that we've done is that we want to keep it a little bit more open this time around. This is a time that none of us, I don't think, really foresaw. When we opened our businesses, or when, at least in Hale and I's case, started working at a POS company that served bookstores. So all of this is a little bit unprecedented, and um, we're working through this just as you are, and we're working through it using the tools that we have. And what we want to do during this class is show you what it is that we think might help you to make sales while you're away from your store, or while traffic is very reduced, and also to share things with you that other customers have shared with us that they're doing. Um, but we also want to hear from you at the end of it. We want to hear what you're doing, and we want to hear what your concerns are as well, because I think all of us sort of need to be in communication about things during a time like this. And we'll be excited to hear from you, hear what you have to say. So things will be a little bit loose, and certainly you can ask questions as we go along, but feel free to throw out ideas as we go along too. If there are things that you want to be heard on, or things you want other people to hear, shout those things out. Um, and in the interest of sort of moving forward with a different format today, I'm your trainer, but we also have the other member of the training department at Booklog with us on the same class, or kind of co-leading it. And the other person is Hale Cuthan. If I'm assuming everyone knows him. And I'll stop speaking for a moment and let Hale talk a little bit. Just let you know what's on his mind.
Well, thanks, Wes. This is Hale. So I want to basically echo what Wes just said, but I also want to thank you all just for taking time out of your day to join us on this class, and hopefully we can all take something away from it and get a little bit of perspective or clarity on what we should be doing going forward. We do have a handful of set topics that we're going to go over, but like Wes said, we want to think of it more as like an open forum. So, ask questions, or, wait until the end of the training and we can have a little Q&A session. Feel free to ask questions via the chat window. And we will be posting this onto YouTube later, because we want the class to be open and available for everybody who uses Booklog for free. So if that's a concern, and you'd rather not have your voice, or if you're using a webcam, if you don't want that posted, you can just mute that and turn it off, and you can use the chat window, and that will not be displayed on YouTube. So yeah, thanks again. I'm going to hand it back to Wes, but yeah, we'll get talking about mail orders now.
All right. Thanks, Hale. And actually, we've already got a chat here. See, Bunning. Hi, Wes. I'm trying to reach you, but I'm having problems. I tried to call as well, but nothing. Um, if you're able to hear us, that's good. Feel free to use this chat, and we'll be able to respond to you. And we're also going to put this up, as Hale was mentioning, as a video. Okay, you're listening to me now. That's great. We're going to be monitoring this chat, probably Hale especially. So just throw out a question if one comes out. All right, thanks a bunch. Okay, we're going to get started now, I think. And we're already recording. What I want to do first is show you how to do a mail order in Booklog. And a mail order is really just an order that you're taking, possibly for items that you have on hand already, that you plan to send out to a customer. So you can take these orders by the phone, by email, and also by the website. If you have a website, you can enter those orders into Booklog, and Booklog will track these orders separately from regular sales. They'll still show up on your end of period report. They'll still be part of your deposit, but you can report separately on mail order sales if you want to see just specifically how much of your business comes from that. And in the next several weeks, I'd imagine it's going to be a pretty big part of most of your businesses. So what I want to do is start there. I'm going to go to the sales menu and I'm going to click on click on mail order here. And this is a list of mail orders that I've got. And I can add these in manually. I can also, if I have a website, have them come in automatically. If I'm using Timber, then orders will just download as customers place them here into my mail order module. If I'm using Indie Commerce, we have an interface there as well, but it's not real time. You can export inventory to Indie Commerce and you can import in orders, but that's kind of where it stops. If I'm going to make a new mail order, then I would need to be at this list, and just like anything else in Booklog, I would need to hit Insert to add a new one in. And when I do that, I get a screen that looks a lot like the cash register or a lot like special orders, the special order screen. And I would put in a customer just like I normally would. And I'll just go ahead and choose Anna Abdul right here. All of her customer information comes up. I can see here how this order came in by phone, by email, by the website. I can say how I want to ship this order out right here. And then I can also put in the items that Anna wants to order. So I can do this manually. If I'm using Timber, then this order comes in automatically, and this is all pre-populated. And if I'm using Indie Commerce, I can import in the order as well. But I'll go ahead and put in the item that Anna wants to buy. And I would put it in just like I normally would, put in the title, put in the ISBN, scan the item. So I'll go ahead and hit F4. I'm going to choose the item here. And go. I'll do Elegant Universe. So that comes up. And here I'm showing how many Anna wanted to order. Probably just one, but I could increase this. And then I could also say how many I'm going to ship. And of course, from here, I can hit the F4 key, and I can see how many of this item I have on hand. I can see a lot of information about the item. But I can say here how many I want to ship. And if I'm not going to ship any, if I'm waiting for this item to come in, I could just leave this blank. And then I could send it out later on. And from here on out, it becomes almost like another sale. So I can put in a discount if Anna gets one, put in her tax rate if I'm going to charge her tax. And then I can also put in a shipping charge. So I can put in a little shipping and handling charge just by clicking this delivery truck. I could put in how much I'm going to, charge Anna to send this out. Put in a tracking number even. Click OK. And I'll see that come up right down here. Well, let's say I'm going to go ahead and ship this out. So I'll say ship one. And I can see this total. But notice I didn't get the total until I said how many I was going to ship. Booklog won't charge anything until I put in a shipping amount. So here. And then I could process it. And from here on out, it's just like another sale. Print receipt, yes or no. And I'll go ahead and say no, because there's a report you can print that's a little bit better than a receipt. So I'll plug in this title. Anna probably didn't pay in cash, so maybe I'll take a check here. Click OK. There we go. Still counts toward her frequent buyer club. And I can have Booklog bring up what's called the mail order fulfillment report. And this has what a receipt would have and what an invoice would have right there, but also a return label. So I could drop this in the box, and then Anna could put her name and address on it when she sends this back for a refund if she needs to. So print mail order shipment review, I could say yes here, say no. And you can also put in here this little tab that shows who picked the order, who checked it. That might be for my information only. And then I'll go ahead and close this. So that's how you would create a basic mail order. There's some other functions in there too that might be useful. For instance, when you're making a mail order, you can choose the customer that it belongs to, and then you could put in the item. But you could also put in, J.W. Abbott's address comes up here. But if I wanted to send this to another place, I could click Alt Ship, and I could put in another name and another address if I needed to send this to. Also, there's a ships tab. So if this is a bigger order, and JW buys multiple items and I ship them out in separate shipments, this ships tab would show me the history of all the shipments that I sent out just on this one order. And let's also talk about what happens when somebody wants to buy an item that you don't have. So here I'm going to go ahead and choose an item right here, and I don't have this one on hand. So I'll go ahead and process this, and I'll save my changes. Booklog says, hey, nothing shipped. Do you want to finalize this order without payment? And I can say yes. I'll finalize it. And then I can print out a picking worksheet, which I could give to someone to pull the items off the shelf for this order, a mail order review, which would just show the items in the order, and then also a shelf tag. You can use this for in-store pickup. So if someone is going to is placing an order online, but they plan to come in and pick it up, there's a little hold slip I could print out and keep with that item, so that when they do come in, it's easy to sell it to them. And I just won't print anything right now. But the next time I'm placing an order, because remember I don't have this item, excuse me here, let me go to the inventory menu and then click purchase orders and then hit insert. And I'm going to place my order here. So go to Ingram, and then I can click this icon and it will show me any items that I needed to be reminded to order, any items that I would need to get to fulfill a mail order here. There's one for special orders as well. So if you do special orders, then that would show up here. But the mail orders pick list would bring up this item too, and I can go ahead and finalize this, and then just treat it like a normal purchase order. And then when the item comes in, I can allocate that right to the mail order. Booklog will just go ahead and fill that order for me. So any questions so far? Okay, very good. Are you guys, I'm going to stop at this point just to ask, how many guys are using websites in this class? Is there anyone who doesn't have a website yet?
I don't have a website yet.
Okay, is that Laura?
Yes, it is.
Hi, Laura. I think you shortly will, but
I'm working on it. Yeah,
that's good. I heard back from Nathan. He's going to contact you.
A website either.
Okay.
This is Andrea from St. John's Bookstore.
No, great. So, a website, basically, what it's going to do for you is obviously sort of stay out there, collect customers' orders, and then deliver them to you. So it fills out all of the stuff that I had to fill out manually. You can just download the order, whole cloth right into Booklog. And that's helpful. It's not required to do a mail order, but it certainly makes you more visible. And it increases the chances that somebody is going to place a mail order with you. So a website is great for that. It's not required, but it's pretty useful. And another way to handle this, whether you have a website or not, is you can do something in Booklog called direct-to-home shipping. And right now it only works with Ingram, which is how most people are doing direct-to-home. But especially at a time like this, when it's in some cases not even safe for you to go to your store and staff it with people in order to fill the orders that customers are placing, when you get an order, you can flag it as being direct to home. I'll go into one of these that I have already right there. Um, this is a mail order, and let's say it came in from my website or I created it on my own. And I can flag this item as being a direct to home order just by putting a check right there. DTH, direct to home. This is functionality that you have already. You've got it in your system if your system is up to date. And what Booklog is going to do with this is create an order for this item that gets sent to Ingram. And then Ingram will fill this order for you and send that item directly to the customer. There are a few requirements that you have to have in place in order to do this. And one is that you have to be using EDI, electronic ordering. So you need an electronic ordering account with Ingram, and it needs to be a big BISAC account. Big BISAC is just a format that Ingram uses when placing these orders. So if you have a big BISAC account with Ingram, and it's the one that they push now, they like for you to have a big BISAC account. So if you set up an account with them recently, it's probably going to be a big BISAC account. But if you have an account like that, then Booklog can send out these direct to home orders. It's what it would look like is I'm going to put a check here in direct to home, and a few things come up when I do that. One is a direct to home ship method. So this is how you would like for the item to be delivered from Ingram to the customer. And you can choose that here. Also, you've got a gift option. And Booklog will remind you of that when you hit process. It's also going to remind you of a couple of other things. You need to have a little bit more information about your customer than you might have taken normally. So I'm going to hit process here. And Booklog will remind me that something is missing. I need the customer name or their address or their home phone number, not just a phone number, but a home phone number. I also need an email address here. So I'm going to click OK, and Booklog is very helpfully takes me to this customer's screen, their little customer properties window, and I can make those changes now. So go, and here I'm going to put in their home number, and I'm going to go ahead and hit save. All right, and there it is. So I've got that information here, and when I hit process, Booklog is going to say, yeah, save changes, yes. Oh, I didn't specify any gift options. So I could just say no. I mean, I don't, this doesn't have to be a gift. But if it is a gift, then I get some options from Ingram. This is very nice of them to do. So yes, I want to enter these in. And there's this icon here for gift options. I'll click that. And then I can choose a wrapping paper. I can put in a gift message. And since this is only a one item shipment, that's fine for me. But if there's more than one, I can choose actually to set up separate gift wrapping options for each item. And I can put in a different message for each one as well. So it's we can't take credit for this. This is something that Ingram does, but it's a pretty nice thing. Here we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and process this. So I'll go ahead and do the shipping, and you'll see what it looks like on the ordering side as well. So let me go ahead and say I'm going to ship this, and I'll process it. Process sale now, yes. Print receipt, no, I'm not going to worry about it. They're going to write me a check. I have to take checks because I don't have any credit cards set up in my dining room, which is where I'm doing this class. Click OK. And now I can put in information about how I want this to be sent. It's going to make a PO just for this item. Now, normally, when you're making POs that you send to Ingram or to a publisher, you don't want to do it for just one item because you're not going to meet your minimums. You're not going to hit your discount. But this is a little bit different. This PO is really a PO you're sending in for the customer. This is just a service that you're providing that makes it easier for them and makes it ideal for a situation like the one that we're in, where the only way that you may safely be able to process orders is direct to home. Um, so here you could put in when you want this order to be canceled, if you would accept a back order so that it comes later on if it's not available now. You could put in the order type. It's probably just going to be EO. A warehouse code, depending on which warehouse you want to use. The confirmation type would probably be full, and shipping instructions here. So the defaults are probably fine to take. You might want to put in a cancel date, but other than that, you're fine. Then you hit done, and Booklog would make an order and then send it out through EDI to Ingram. Now, I don't have a real EDI account set up in Booklog here, so it wouldn't work for me, but for you, as soon as you hit done, if you're using EDI ordering and you have a big BISAC account with Ingram, this is going to go across. So it's really simple, very easy to use, and you don't have to buy anything else. You can already do this. You just need to ask Ingram for a big BISAC account if you don't have one, and then to ask us for an electronic ordering setup if you don't have that either. So, any questions about that? Are people doing?
Is it?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to ask a question. Sorry, being completely new to all of this. What is the margin? Like what is the margin that Ingram gives you on the books that you're buying, or do you know, or does that depend?
I think it's probably something you would have to ask Ingram. I don't think that the margin is quite as good.
I would assume it's not, and just didn't know what it was.
Right, and I'm not sure either.
Okay, thank you, Wes.
It might also have changed pretty recently, just given everything that's going on. So yeah, definitely ask about it. Is anyone doing direct to home who's in the class right now? Okay, well, I definitely encourage you to start. This is a great thing to be able to do, and we've had let's see. Oh, there's some chats here. Okay. So, let's see. Let's look at a few of the questions that have come up here. Okay, we have Ingram set up with different parameters. Should we update differently for direct to home tool? If you're using a big BISAC account, then you're fine. If you're not, then you want to get a big BISAC account with Ingram. But you don't have to have a special account just to do direct to home. Other than that, have them move your account to be a big BISAC account. And I think actually at Rizzoli, you guys are already doing big BISAC. Oh, good. And on iPage, you can find the rates, which is good. Thanks for putting that in there, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. And let's see, David is saying, we do it, but not through Booklog. So this would be a way to start. You don't have to depend on a website to do it for you, especially if they're going to charge you extra fees. Just do it yourself, and whatever, take as much profit as you can from it. Let's see. And then it sounds like at Rizzoli, you're doing it through iPage. You guys, knowing which version you're on, can actually already do this. All you have to do is click that little box, DTH, and you should be good to go. Oh yeah, and through iPage. Yeah, so you can just do it directly here. I've never done it through iPage, but I've heard from other customers that that process can be a little clunky sometimes through iPage. So this should streamline it for you. Just make it part of your normal mail order practice. That's great. Thanks for speaking up, guys. And that's great also that you can find the rates on the FAQ on iPage.
Awesome.
Yeah, that is. Oh yeah, thanks for all that, guys.
Wes, this is at Brightside Bookshop in Flagstaff. We do ours through iPage also, but then we have to go back into Booklog and process that sale again. So I think I'm assuming that we have a big BISAC account. I'll have to double check with that, but this should make that much more streamlined.
Yeah, you don't have to do the double work, and I'm hoping that you'll save some money. I'm not sure. Um, so that's, yeah, very good. All right. Any other questions before we kind of move on? Okay. If at any time you have any questions, the chat is a great way to bring them up. But you can also just interrupt me. All right. So this is, direct to home is kind of the big thing I hope that you'll take home from this class. But there are some other things too. I've been hitting the online sales thing pretty hard. That does make you visible. That's that's you making money while you're asleep, which is a good thing to do right now. And customers who want to find you can anytime they want to look for you. So I would definitely recommend having some kind of web presence, even if it's not a Timber account, which gives you that real-time access to Booklog, real-time functionality, or whether it's indie commerce, anything else. But one of the other things that it can do, and you guys at Rizzoli do this already, is it allows you to create subscriptions with customers. And this is actually something you would have to buy separately. We have a module called standing orders that would let you do this. But basically what you can do is create orders, sort of like little clubs that people can subscribe to, and they would pay a fee to subscribe, and then every month you send them out books that everybody in that club is going to get. So I'll show you a little bit how that works, and it probably works best through a website, although that's, it's not required. It does interact with mail orders though. So here, let me close this. When you have the standing orders module, and again, it is an extra expense. It's something you would have to pay for separately. Under sales, you have this standing orders kind of sub-menu. And just to give you a sense of how this would work, you can create a standing order here, just put in a customer, what it is that they want to, who it is that they are. You can create different kinds of orders. These are different order types that I created. So, people with the Murdy Classical Library standing order, every time a new Murdy Classical Library book comes out, then I'll put it on their order. Order in advance, 12-month fiction club, any club that you want to create. And then you can set up a way for them to pay for it. They can either pay every time you ship these items out, or they can pay one fee that will give them, and they can pay in advance, which is what you guys do at Rizzoli. And you can send out these items that they want. And these items, when you process them, become mail orders. So let's see. Let me give you an example. All the mail orders we were just looking at came from standing orders. But when your ship date comes out for your subscriptions, you can process them all at once. Everybody who created a standing order, or you can do it by the order type. These are different types that I created here. Do it by the ship date. You can just do one person's subscription. So if you're kind of customizing it, then you can zero in on that. And again, you can charge the customer by the deliverable, which is the individual item that you're about to ship out. So you can charge them monthly, or charge them for a placement item, which is usually just a fee that they would pay either monthly or annually. And this would create mail orders for everybody who had a standing order, and you can send them out there. And if you put that subscription up on your website, then that's a way for people to go, subscribe online, they don't ever have to come into the store, although you can do in-store pickup as well. But it's one way to bring people in and to keep bringing them back. And if you're doing um, an annual subscription fee, then you're paying for this all at once. So you've got that money to kind of leverage against the expense of sending out these books month by month. Um, so it can make accounting easier. It can make it easier to get customers books that they want and to keep them coming back. So any questions about standing orders? Is this something that I know you guys at Rizzoli are doing it, but is anybody else? Or is anybody considering it? Is this something that anybody's been kicking around?
We're considering it.
Yeah,
This is Laura.
okay. That's great. It's a big thing. Rizzoli, you guys are right there on the cutting edge, and so you got in there pretty early. But this is functionality that we've had for a while, and it's the industry likes it. So if you're interested in it, just let us know, and we can talk to you more about it. Another function that you've got now that you don't have to pay for, at least not pay us for, is that you can send out email campaigns. And that's a really great way to communicate with your customers while you're not at the store and you're not seeing them come in every day. The email campaigns or campaign management has some requirements also. One of these being that you have an email address for your store and an email server. You got to know a little bit about that email server. So if you have a Gmail address, for instance, you're going to need to know a little bit about Google's email process. But I'm going to go here to maintenance and then store, and I'm going to go here to SMTP. And this is the information you would need to know about your store's email address. And if you're using Google or if you're using Yahoo or anything like that, this is stuff that you can just find online. You just have to Google it. Put in the SMTP server address, the server port, whether or not you're going to use SSL, and then the credentials to log into your email account. And Booklog can use that account to send out communications to your customers. You can also put in, what email address you want to appear on the emails that go out and which one they should reply to. Put in a little signature right here. And once you have that information, then this opens everything up to you. You have a list of customers, of course, and each customer, oh, I clicked the wrong little icon here. You have a list of customers, and each customer can have their own email address. So you can even put it in when they're at the register, just like I put it in when we were doing the mail order. Put it in right there. You can take them off the mailing list if you want to, and that will keep them from getting these emails. But if you have their email address here, then Booklog can use that to send out an email. And a few things that you can tweak here are, first of all, what kind of emails you're going to send, and then who you're going to send them out to. So I'm going to go here to sales, and then I'm going to come to marketing, and then campaign management. And here I'm going to make the choice with campaign templates about what kind of email I'm going to send. And then with campaigns, who I'm going to send it to. So I'll click on campaign templates. And I'll click new. And I can say what kind of campaign I want to send. Usually it's going to be direct market promotion, although we have a membership module that this works with also. I click OK. And then I could put in what I want my email to show. So let's say I'm advertising curbside service at my store. And I'll probably advertise this a few times just to so I can hope to catch everyone. And I'll start the email just saying dear, and I can even personalize this email. So I don't just have to say, dear valued customer, which everyone's going to delete. I can say, dear Harry. So click contact F name, contact first name, and click that there. And then anyone whose name is Harry is going to get this email. And Harry will show up there. Um, anyone whose name is Molly or Stella would get an email that has their name in it. And then you can put in the text of this email. And I won't bore you by trying to workshop a lot of ideas about what this should say, but you probably want to put in, owing to health conditions out in the country, we're offering curbside service. You can call us at this number, place this order, place your order, and we'll have it ready for you within 2 hours or something like that. And you can personalize a lot of the information about it. You can say, you can put in their phone number if you wanted to. You could put in their address. You could put in anything about the customer that you need to. But of course, contact first name is probably the most useful thing to do. You can type out the text of this email, sign it, and then save it as a template. I'll just save this. And then when you decide to create this campaign, you can go to Sales, Marketing, Campaign Management, Campaigns. Say that you're going to create a new campaign. Name it. So this would be Curbside 3 25 20. You can name it anything you want. Campaign type, direct market promotion. I'm choosing the same thing here. Campaign template. So what should the email look like? And I'll choose that curbside template that I made. And here I can choose who it is that I want to get this. If I leave this blank and I hit save, it's going to be every single customer I've got. And that's probably who I want to send this to. But as time goes along, you start to have events, even virtual events. I know that Politics and Prose in Washington, D.C. is using Crowdcast for their author events. They sort of virtually host this this author from their home. You can log in and ask them questions and have a moderator who works at Politics and Prose. So if you set up something like that and you want to target specific people, then here you could say, okay, I just want to get customers who have been in the store within a certain number of days, or customers who have spent this much money on average over this many days, or customers who have spent this much money, period. If you're doing a GoFundMe, or if you're asking for orders to sort of as like a donation of support, you can do that. So you can also put in a little image file if you want to, just attach this file here. Or some people use this to send out coupons. And then you could also sort of even further choose customers who only bought certain kinds of items. And you could put in those specific items here. Or you could say customers who like books by a certain author, especially if you're going to have that author hosted on Crowdcast or something like that. Customers who buy items in a certain category or spend money in a certain department of your store. If you have a frequent buyer club, you could just target those people. And when you're done, you think you've got everything set up here that you need to have set up, you can hit build. And Booklog will generate an email with that template that I showed you for every customer. And I can just click through them here. You sort of see that it is personalized for each customer. And I could hit email drop, and Booklog will use that email address to send this out. I can just put in my subject, put in a batch of emails if my particular email server restricts the number of emails that I can send out at one time. So this is, again, just a free service, free functionality that you have. It's already there. All it requires is information about your email server.
Wes, when you're building those templates, can you drop logos in there, or is it all text-based?
It's all text-based, at least right now. You can, when you're attaching files to the emails, you can add in a little JPEG file or something like that if you wanted to, but it is just an attachment.
Not on the template side.
Right.
Copy that. Thanks.
Yeah, good question. Another thing to think about is even if you're not going to send out emails through Booklog, you can still, like if you use MailChimp, for example, you can still build this email list. Just build it the way that you normally would. And then after you've built it, let's see, let me bring up the curbside. After you've built it, you can export the list. So you can just send all those emails to a file and then import them into another program like MailChimp.
Yeah, we use MailChimp for all of our email blasts, but we do use the email server on Booklog to email when special orders come in, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, perfect. It's good for that too, and it's good for sending out. Just to kind of circle back on the mail orders, you can send out emails then too when those mail orders come in. So yeah, you could still do this and create your list of people that you want to promote to. Load that into MailChimp and create your promotional email there. Yeah, good question. All right. So, all these together or separately can help you reach out to customers while you're closed. But I'm curious also to know what you guys are doing now. I'm sure that a lot of folks are just kind of sitting at home and hoping for the best. But is there anybody who is using a strategy inside Booklog or out of it to keep in touch with customers and keep sales coming in?
Social media for sure.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we the heartfelt plea on Facebook is it's a good tool for getting this done.
Wes, this is Ben again. You were talking about we're currently getting our indie commerce site set up. Hopefully it'll be live later today. And you were talking about importing those sales directly into Booklog. I was wondering if you could run through that real quick.
Sure, and I don't actually have indie commerce set up here, so I can't go into indie commerce and import an order. But I can send out an email, kind of with documentation on how that would look to everyone. And it's indie commerce, but not indie light. So we interact with indie commerce, but indie light's kind of a different animal.
Gotcha.
Is it indie light that you're working with?
It is indie light at this time, yeah.
Okay. Well, let me send across, indie light is free right now from the ABA, so that's great. If there's anyone here who doesn't have a website, who needs one, this is free, so just take it. This will keep things going for you. Let's see. Let me. There are a few chats here that I just want to bring up. How would you recommend to manage pre-sold books on Booklog, which now we are ordering to Ingram? If they're pre-sold, so those are subscription books, then when they show up in the mail order, just check DTH to make sure that they're getting out to the customer. And those books would have already been paid for. When they did the subscription, the way that you generate your standing orders will kind of cover the cost of those books already. And if they're special order books, so these are books that people came in, paid for in advance, and then you're just putting them on hold. Um, I would, when you're doing a special order, I don't think you have that direct to home functionality. I'm just going to check that to be sure. I'm kind of a new version of Booklog. Yeah, we don't have direct to home here in special orders. So I would create those as mail orders, even if they're going to wind up being in-store pickup. Just don't charge them the shipping and handling. Does that make sense? Okay, and you're pushing social media, newsletter, phone consultations, subscriptions. That's great. Any way you can be there, to interact with the customer, just be there. It's a really good thing to do. And David's requesting that email about importing from Indie Commerce. Happy to do that. We'll definitely send that out. Send it to your friends. Send it to everybody. The goal here is to help keep everybody active and keep everybody engaged. So we'll definitely send that out. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming to this, and thank you for sharing the information that you did. Um, I shared what I wanted you to see, but of course we can talk after this is over too. Feel free to email me, and we can, we're happy to discuss any questions you had that you might occur to you after this is over. But before we wrap it up, is there anything that anybody wants to say? Is there anything that anybody wants to bring up? All right.
I'd like to say something, right?
Oh, go right ahead.
This is Hale. Yeah, I just want to say that, again, I really appreciate everyone coming to this, but I hope that going forward, remember that we're a resource for you. We're here, every day as long as we're healthy and able to be here, and we're completely committed to helping you guys out during this time. So if there are any other trainings that you guys are interested in, or anything at all that you think might be helpful for other Booklog users, just let us know. Let's keep in touch and keep things flowing.
That's great. Thanks, Hale. That's good. All right. Okay. Well, thanks again, guys. We'll get this video ready for you. We're going to put it up on YouTube. And if you want to take a look at it and the other videos that we've got up there, like videos on how to do inventory. That's the thing that a lot of folks are doing right now if they're not making sales. It's also a great time, by the way, to kind of clean up some of your data, to do data purges. If you feel like you have a lot of stuff in there that you're not using anymore, and you find you're kind of too tied up during a normal business day, we're going to put normal in air quotes there now, to go through and weed out all that stuff. Now's the time to do it. And if you would like some strategies on that, on how to purge, on how to, what's a good idea to pull out of your database or weed out, just let us know. We're happy to send that information as well.
Thank you, Wes.
All right. Thank you, guys. You guys have good days and be safe.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Bye.